Good morning, good morning, my loves. Yes, this is about to be a morning rampage video. What? We are about to set it off. Okay, so let me put my AirPods away, child, because I turned off my Bluetooth. I'm up early before work next to some coffee shop over here and some hardware store over here. Whew, for a split second, I was thinking of going to the mall and shopping a little bit later, but we'll see how my day shakes out. I'm gonna be busy. I also was gonna make my own coffee at home, but honestly, I would have to get the water and like a pitcher of water to put in the coffee machine. And I was like, I have something on my heart. Of late, I've been doing a lot of these manifestation videos, giving you guys some inside scoop into how I've manifested, really pushing these videos out here. You see what I'm saying? Because I know that the videos I'm making and putting out in the ether and putting out in the universe and putting out on my channel, oh, I have gum. One second, y'all. I know that these videos are, impacting people. You see what I'm saying? I don't care if it's 100 million or 10 or 100 people. You see what I'm saying? Like, my mentality and my energy and my vibration and my frequency of what I'm working with is so high regardless, that I'm like, people that are meant to see my videos at some point or live is because, like I said in my previous video, it's because y'all care about your life. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to start off the video with that because it's just the reality. You see what I'm saying? What we have to understand about, I got my lip gloss, I got my lotion. One second, let me get my, one of my other matte lipstick, but all I have is my, this lipstick over here. Isn't it so cute and small, guys? Might as well show y'all. I have never seen, this design is kind of like Victoria Beckham. I love Victoria Beckham products. This is not Victoria Beckham, but the packaging reminds me of it. Anyway, like I said in my previous video, y'all, and what I've understood from very, very young and in general, and I'm not gonna, shy away from saying this, is that a lot of people don't care about their life. You see what I'm saying? And the programming that either their parents or society or their environment or teachers or whoever, basically people that are trying to overarch their own energy, in a domineering way, have deposited in most human beings, is like a slave. You know what I'm saying? Let's just cut to the chase. Their mentality is like a slave. And so it's like, it's no longer monkey see, monkey do. Now it's about, humbling yourself down and being scared of everything. And I think that the pandemic and all the political crises and the wars we're seeing is a perfect reflection of the mass consciousness right now. You know what I'm saying? If you really zoom out and look into it, I think it's a perfect example of the mass consciousness level and the low vibration that we're operating with. Because what's happening, guys, is that people are being suppressed in a corner. Okay, people are being told what to do, and they're living a life, and their behavior and everything else is in a way that does not align and reflect with the life they really want to live. And so I have come on here and have shared bits and bobs in my own personal life willingly and freely and happily, because I really want to make sure that I document not only for myself, but for all of you lovely people who've supported me, who have been in my live streams, who have subscribed, who've even donated, who've even, shared my videos and thumbs ups. Like, I want to make sure that I do due diligence, no matter the frequency of how I upload. I want to make sure that I include that. You know what I'm saying? I not only put that in my description of all my videos, every description of my, every video description I put in the description, like, thank you for watching. Thank you for, if you donate to the channel to keep, things afloat in terms of like equipment or different technology that I use. Like, I make sure that I put that. And even if people don't see that, I put that. You see what I'm saying? And so I do my part. I do my part with coming on here and not only giving you guys inspirational messages, but giving you guys, you know, the same boost that I basically had to earn myself. You see what I'm saying? I can't even count how many emails I remember I've gotten, you know, over the period of how long I've been on YouTube, from I think 2017, July of 2017 is when I founded this YouTube name and started uploading, and it kind of took on a whole life of itself. And, you know, definitely has gave me, you know, success and viral moments, and even, you know, support in different ways, more than I could have ever imagined. And so for the record, there's been a lot of milestones, digital milestones, and I would almost want to say career, you know, besides me going to college and graduating high school. Like this, I almost feel like this is like, was for me like a hobby and like a baby, and I feel like I've changed that almost like into something that is work. You know, this all takes work, and I could almost want to say career milestone. Like I've achieved things from this channel that I didn't even think were possible, like, and I never could have even imagined, you know what I'm saying? Like, even in general, just, you know, being able to produce over 1 million views, you know what I'm saying, like in viewership yearly. Like that's not even something that I ever thought was like, I just never thought like that. Like I knew that I would do well, and I knew that I would, you know, attract my tribe. And I think a lot of you guys are a similar tribe, because the way I see it is like people that subscribe to certain people or watch certain videos is like they're like-minded to some degree, maybe not 100%, but it's like they're part of like a soul tribe, you know what I'm saying? And that's true. And I've heard other YouTubers use that phrase, and it's true. It's 100% true. Like they use that phrase because like should attract like, you see what I'm saying? And like-minded people will gravitate towards the similar topics. You see what I'm saying? So with that said, I really wanted to include that because you know, that's not something that I've made a video about, I think, solely by itself. I think I tend to intertwine other messages with other messages because of the nature of how I speak and how I think. It's like everything is connected, you know? So with that said, here is your daily reminder, guys, right? Here is your daily reminder, okay, to manifest the reality that you want, okay? I'm on very early, so I understand that, you know, not everybody's going to be up this early, but hey, it is what it is. But, you know, we have to understand, guys, that the effort we put in today is going to reflect tomorrow. So if there's something about a person, place, or thing or situation that you don't tend to like, and that you think is beneath you, and that you think is just, you know, basically past its sell-by date, which means it's expired in your reality, you know what I'm saying? Remain grateful, remain thankful for what you do have, but like I said in my previous video, guys, you have to keep pushing, okay? Do not wait for people. And see, that brings me to another point, guys, is like, when I started this channel, and like there was different rufflings and different people in my, you know, around my life at the time that were making certain remarks that, you know, were helpful, but on the contrary, what I remember is that literally I felt like I was the only person. Like I at least for me, I felt like I did not go based upon any compliments, any approval, not even YouTube's approval, you know what I'm saying? Like, because there was a process that people don't really understand. Like, you have to go through a process in order to get monetized, in order to be able to even do live streams. Like, there's a whole and now, since the age of TikTok and Snapchat and all that, it's even harder. But back when I started, it was pretty standard because YouTube was not as advanced. You know, YouTube didn't have all these features and the creator studio and this and that. It had a studio, but it wasn't even called Creator Studio as far as I remember. It was called something else. It was like a portal. And so I have seen the evolution. You know, I've seen the evolution of how people manifest. I've seen the evolution of technology, YouTube, all that. You see what I'm saying? So for me, the way that I feel and the way that I see it, y'all, is like, going back, using this as an example, basically, it wasn't like I went to like a technician or a director or called up YouTube headquarters, right, and said, do you like the idea of me doing this, that, and the name of my channel, and, you know, are you okay with this? You know, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. I didn't go to anybody and be like, do you like me? Do you accept me? You know, are you going to support me? Are you going to push me in the algorithm? I didn't do any of that. You see, and I still don't, You see what I'm saying? Like, my mentality, my mindset, my energy is like, I'm not going to wait for you to see how amazing I am. If you don't see it, if you don't take a hold of it, if you don't, if you're not gravitated towards it, probably because your energy is too low, like your vibe is too low, you're not vibing high, so you're not attracting nothing high. You see what I'm saying? So I've realized that, like, I've actually realized, like, you know what, like, most of the things, like, from my car to YouTube to relationships, like, I realize it's like, I don't live necessarily to wait and pause my life for other people to validate what I think, because I am a Scorpio sun. So I think Aries and Scorpio and Virgo have a similar pattern. I don't know about, I think maybe Gemini as well, but there's certain zodiac signs that I know, just based off of experience and research and, you know, interaction, that they have this kind of template where they, you know, are very independent and go-getters. And cardinal signs in general tend to be like that. Like, cardinal signs in general tend to be you know, action oriented and, you know, primed and pumped into position, and they don't really wait for other people. But let's put it this way. Even if you're not any of those zodiac signs, or you don't possess any cardinal, you know, main placement, you can still embody this energy, right? You can still embody this energy and use that as fuel for your own life, for your own goals. Me personally, I just happen to have that in my chart, which, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm not really embodying it, but, you know, different seasons in life require different types of, you know, interactions and stuff like that. But I would say on average, I've always been the person who's like, in my head, like, basically, fuck you, you know, you can't tell me what I'm gonna and not have, what I am and am not gonna have. You can't, and quite frankly, I laugh, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not in their face, but I laugh a lot of times, because certain things that I do, even like behavioral things, sometimes I feel like I almost put on a front so that the person can show their true colors. And I do that quite a lot. Like especially with people, I do it all the time. And so in their head, they could think, oh, she's silly, she's stupid, she's naive, she's this. But really, I'm not. I'm just playing up to that to see how you treat me, and to see how you are as a person, like your character, like what's your character. So that's another tip that, you know, I use it a lot, and people think that I'm being for real, and I'm never being for real. I'm literally acting, because it's like, I just want to see what you do, how you take advantage if I did the opposite of what you're saying. Like, that's basically how with people, that's how I play it, because they're never gonna really show them their true selves unless, you know, you're displaying some kind of extreme emotion or situation. A lot of times people are not going to be their true authentic self if you're just playing into their hand. You see what I'm saying? So that's more of like a psychology lesson. But regardless of that, okay, the point that I'm making and the example I'm using today for you all and for myself, really as a reminder, is all these things I've been able to, from things I buy, everything, you know what I'm saying? You don't go to somebody else or whatever and say, do you like me? Do you approve of me? What do you think? Because they're always, because you know why? Because 80 to 90% of the time, y'all, they're going to have some fuck shit to say. They're going to have some negative thing to say. They're going to look down on you. And especially more so if you're a certain color, or you're a female, like you're a woman, like the list goes on and on and on. Like, that's just how the world. Asian, I don't really know where that category, because some people say Asian is of color, but then others say they're not. So I'm not really sure with that. But let's say Native American, more of a clear example, for example. You know what I'm saying? You understand how people are. You understand that they have a negative bias, or they want to form a negative bias, but they can't. And so when you don't live up to the negative bias, they'll try to punk bitch you. They'll try to lowball you. They'll try to say things to you, or treat you a certain way to see if you believe that negative template that they want to give you. What I just said was a word. And so with color, that's an easier example, but like stepping back from the color example in general, okay? Let's just be honest. Most people are not going to see what you see. Majority, okay? Unless you are, you've handpicked your crew, and you've handpicked staff, and blah, 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 and this and that, okay? Let's say I'm the average person, this average world, right? They're not getting that kind of treatment, guys. They're not experiencing an overabundance of support. You know what I'm saying? Look at the data that they push out here, that people are, this loneliness epidemic. People are being severely lonely and all this other stuff. That confirms most people's reality, which is they're not supported, whether financially, whether emotionally, they're not upheld. And so my point and the purpose of saying that is that you have to uphold yourself. This is like quality advice here. You have to do it for yourself, regardless of who is riding your coattails, okay, giving you compliments, patting you on the back, because guess what? The trajectory of your life and your destiny and what you want to do in a 10-year span, a 5-year span, they're never going to know. Like I said, unless they're like creative directors and they work under you and they're employees and they're like close friends, like they have to be close. 99% of people are not going to see the vision that you see. They're not going to understand where you're coming from. So you have to forget other people's opinion, respectfully. Like you do have to live in your own world, and when you're out there co-creating and you're coming across people who are supportive, who are nice, who want to give you compliments, great. But let me give you guys a little secret. That's not everything. I can't even count one work day I had when I was out. And I was getting like, I can't tell you guys how, okay? I could think of maybe what it was, but I cannot tell you guys why or how. And it was just it was actually like 2 or 3 days ago. And this is a real life example. And I can't tell you what it was. The whole day I was getting compliment after compliment in person, on the phone. It was like I was being bombarded with showers of like adoration and compliments, literally. And all I did was just say, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't really know what's in that person's heart. I don't really know what that person's intention is. I'm not really sure, I cannot get in that person's body and see why they're saying what they're saying. So the smartest thing to do is just say, thank you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But you keep your boundaries intact. You keep your own, moral philosophy intact. You don't let things get to your head. Like, some people have a personality where one compliment is like it's like being injected into their brain, and it takes over their whole psyche, and they're a whole different person, and they become arrogant, and their ego's inflated, and that's okay, because that's what they want. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a personal knock. That's just how some people are. But then there's other people, most people in the world, that it's a fly by night. Thank you for the compliment. okay, and what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you already have the knowledge of the compliments that people are giving you, it doesn't hit the same. It's almost like if you don't know who you are, right? And then somebody comes along and says, you know, this is what you could be or what you could do. You're more impressed. You're more like, oh, you know what? You're right. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you already possess what they're saying and you already know what they're trying to get at, you're not easily affected. So another example is like those celebrities that wig out, you know, they turn to drugs, they lose all their money, they go crazy, they become you know, excessive party lifestyle, they lose their way. That's because they're not grounded. That's what other celebrities be talking about when they say, I'm grounded. I have a, you know, solid people in my corner. And if I don't have solid people in my corner, I am solid. I am set in my ways. I know what, you know what I'm saying? That's what they're talking about, guys, is you have your own philosophy, your own idea. You have your own kind of system or way of thinking that no outside influence can tamper with or pollute or control. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's totally different. And on a quick personal note, because this is kind of tying in, this is exactly why I want to like either go to a different city or like a different state. I don't know about country, but I definitely want to experience that very, 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 very soon, because I think that, and I actually saw this, I don't know if it's based on my algorithm or who I follow, what, but on Twitter, I actually saw a post talking about, there was a post talking about like people's environment, you know, and how it's better to rent an expensive room in a high kind of like area versus, you know, a cheap apartment in what you call it, a low income area or a regular area, because you're not going to be inspired. And people were saying, oh, that's true, as well, if they can afford it, of course. But what basically he was trying to say is that it's like your environment plays a big part of it. And I have to agree. It's like I've been really drilling this home on my channel of late, because I think it's so true. It's like your environment and what you expose yourself to and what you're around on a daily basis, it definitely can affect how far you go, what occupation you choose, what profession, what business, what investments you make. It definitely does set the tone, you know. It definitely does impact like what you are exposed to. So even if I don't really favorite the current state that I live in, and not for long, you know, for real, back when I started my channel, my YouTube channel, I was in the same state. I happened to be in an apartment with a kind of vibration. I obviously, I'm sure there's a science to it, but that particular location I was at the time, and plus the leasing agents and all that, you call a leasing agent? I think you call a realtor. I'm not sure what the jargon, but one of the ladies that worked in the main office, she had great energy. And it's like her great energy kind of filtered out to the apartments and how they maintained, you know, the apartments. And that was when I started my channel and I was living there. And so there was a certain frequency, but it wasn't just because of her or because of the building setup or the arrangement. It was literally because I had crystals and I was just in a really, really good place in my life. I was working, I was studying, I was still in college. So there was certain factors, I think, that contribute. You see what I'm saying? But the number one thing that people have to understand is that, like I keep saying, no one's gonna come to you, right, and ask you, are you unhappy? You know, do you want a different lifestyle? Do you want to attract different people? Like, no one can see that, except your close friends and family and coworkers and whoever else you work with. Like, nobody is going to go to you and see that. No one would even know that unless you told them. So, so I made a video. I think it was around, was it probably 2020, 2021. I doubt it was 2022. Definitely 2019, 2020, 2021. I remember I made a video called Player One Mode. I remember that video very distinctively. I had my comments open, still on my channel, never deleted it. And it was about like life is like a player one mode, you know? And even if you have a partner, spouse, whatever, you have kids, it's like that's how it feels, at least for me. And a lot of people, you know, going through life, it feels like player one mode. It does. It feels like you have your thoughts and you have your feelings, and it's like the rest of the world wouldn't know about that. They wouldn't see that. They wouldn't, how would they know that? You see what I'm saying? Like, how would somebody know that you're unhappy or that you're happy unless you display it, unless you verbally communicate it? Like, nobody can, unless someone's intuitive like I am, I can read energy, you know? So if I go into like a coffee shop or I'm at work, I can read energy. You know, if I go shopping, like if someone's in proximity or like there's a you know, an interaction that like, let's say for example, the cashier, I'm buying something, there's a cashier. Okay, I could tell that person's in a good mood. I could tell that person's in a sucky mood. You know, I could tell. But that's just me. Now, somebody else who doesn't have that kind of spiritual gift or whatever, they may think it's nothing. They may just, you know, see the person's face and it's blank and they can't read what's going on in their mind. So everybody has different spiritual gifts, different skill set. You know, everybody has a different thing that they're kind of working with. You see what I'm saying? So this is a morning rampage, absolutely. And this is a video, okay, to really have you understand. And really, I would say morning rampage, but you could watch this in the afternoon. You could watch this when you're going to bed. But in actuality, when you're starting your day, midday, evening time, morning time, most of the time it's morning or afternoon. So I can't really say like nighttime rampage. So if I was to tweak the title or tweak the description, it would have morning rampage, because this is when you're starting your day, you know, you're beginning your day and you need to figure things out. But this is your reminder that do not wait for anybody to validate your ideas. Okay, if you're around a bunch of lazy people, or people who are not action oriented, or people who have their head in the sky, or they're going through their own thing and they can't help you, don't waste your time. You know, I'll be the first person to tell you, do not delay. I have so many examples of this in my own personal life where, you know, oh my God, look at this black cat. Y'all see this black cat? Oh my God, y'all. Look at this black cat next to my car. In Japan, that's good luck. I believe black cats are good luck, by the way. This kitty cat must have felt safe with me and wanted to maybe get some food. Oh, poor baby. I wonder if this cat's next to my door. Let me see. I don't see it from that angle, but yeah, pets and babies always feel comfortable in my energy, which is a great sign. Anywho, yeah, so you know, and I have a black and white cat at home. I have a black and white dog and cat at home, and I get lots of luck. So that's probably just racism, that black cats bring bad luck. They bring really good luck. All pets do, all colors and all pets do. But regardless of that, I have one distinct example in my life where it was more for like this other category in my life, and you know, it was like a referral or recommendation of something, and I knew that this person was shit. No offense, I just knew they were shit. But this person, you know, tried to put me on, and at first they were helpful, but I felt like, no offense, but the potential in the person, I didn't see it. And so even if I didn't see it, I still gave them a chance, and it was like over a year. And then it came to a point where I was fed up, and I was like, you know what? I know this person's like, their mismanagement of things is garbage. You know, like they're not to work with me. They're not on my level at all. And so eventually I moved on. And then when I finally, you know, what's Chai mean? But when I didn't say it verbally, this was all quiet. This was all just action oriented. This wasn't like a verbal conversation, by the way. But when I took stock of what I felt and not what somebody else felt and told me to feel, I was able to actually get the right people in that position and talk to the right people that I knew always existed. So that example alone is what I'm trying to tell y'all is like, in life, people may have good intentions, but what they see, you have to see. And if you don't see what they see and you don't feel there's a connection and you don't feel like this person's really gonna, you know, propel you where you need to be propelled to, and it's just not a match, it's not a match. You know what I'm saying? Don't fake the front. Don't fake the funk, you know, like, you know, the same thing could be applied to relationships. You know, people that are with people and they're overlooking all these red flags and all these, you know, disgusting traits. But, you know, one thing over a multitude of 20 things that are wrong, you know, they're wasting their time. And then as soon as they get out of that, it's an example. As soon as they get out of that relationship, they'll find somebody that has 15 good qualities, only 5 bad qualities, if you want to be real. And they get a better person, they get a better relationship. So as harsh as it may sound, because I'm a manifestor and I'm definitely a believer in law of assumption, law of attraction, but I've tend to be a realist, you know, like I've always said there's a part of me that's definitely a realist because and a realist in a sense of I'm not going to fake the funk, you know, and I'm not going to try to make something work that doesn't work, like or you know, I'm definitely optimistic, but I'm optimistic in a realistic way, which means, you know, I can smell the BS from a mile away. So if I can smell the BS and I feel like something is off, I'm not going to ignore that. You know, I'm going to investigate. I'm going to be like, Scorpio, hello. I'm going to investigate and I'm going to be like, huh, something's off there. You know, why did that person say that? Or why is this person doing that? You know, I'm going to use my little spidey senses and I'm going to get to the bottom of it, because I know for a fact that if I feel like something's off, I'm never wrong. You know, for one, I've never been wrong. So whether you're having a good time, a regular, you know, average time, whatever template or level you think your reality is, the point of the matter, the situation of the matter is, if you don't like something, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to buy into it. You don't have to accept it. You know what I'm saying? You don't, you know, depending upon the situation, you don't outwardly show that, obviously common sense, but inside your mind, you're plotting, you're planning, right? Behind closed doors, you're investigating, you're researching. You're not waiting for someone to try to lift you up. You know, and I hate that phrase, something about bootstraps, like lift by, that's a corny saying, because first of all, nobody likes to wear boots, and second of all, what they're basically trying to say is, like, you know, you boost yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you not only encourage yourself, because that's a given, but you don't stay down. You know, you could get knocked down, you could be tormented, whatever, but you don't stay there. You know, the problem is when you stay there and when you accept defeat and you accept bad treatment, you know. And like an example, a certain acquaintance, you know, they were working in a job that they were saying, you know, there was like a lot of, like, I don't use the word malpractice, but there was things that just were fundamentally off, you know. And I told the person, you know, you have a great position here. You know, if you feel you're getting paid right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like you do you know, you do what you want to do. And then come to find out, top of the new year, I was in contact with this person, and that person quit because she was saying that, you know, there was just things that for her life, for her like reality, that she was not willing to put up with, you know. And so that's a perfect example. It's like other people may think that, you know, it's all Jim dandy and like gold and glitter, and you know, it's a good thing, it's a good situation, it's a good setup. But then the person actually living it is like, no, it's not. It's torture. It's a bad job. It's not. It's not a job position that I want to stay in. So that's a perfect example. Is like, from the outside looking in, you think that it's a basket of roses. You know what I'm saying? But the person living it, the person having to get up every day and go to that job, clock in, clock out, to them, they're in hell. They're having the worst time ever. You know, same thing for relationships, same thing for a marriage. The outside is deceiving. You know, you're looking from the outside in, you can have a whole bunch of opinions. You can make a whole type of assumptions about that person's life. But then the actual person living it, the actual person in those shoes, is they're terrified, they're unhappy, maybe it's even causing them to be depressed. You know, they're having a rough time. So that just proves to me the whole you know, basis of the video. And what I'm saying is, like, they're not gonna see what you see. Even people that love you and care for you, they're not going to see what you see. They're not going to see what you see. And they're not going to understand how you're feeling. So you got kids, you got a good group of friends, whatever, it doesn't matter. Really don't matter. You cannot wait for them to see what you see. So there's really no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you get fed up with something, or you know, you feel like something is not to your liking, you don't have to put up with it, you know. And the sad thing is that I think life and people in general, you know, they program literally other people to put up with absolute nonsense, like genuinely, you know. And it's sad, because when you get a hold of this information and you really understand your self-worth and self-value, like, there's a lot that you will not accept. You'll tolerate it, but you're not going to accept it. And so you're going to be looking for ways to better yourself. You're going to be looking for outlets to improve your life, to improve yourself. That's a fact, because, you know, once I got tired of something, like, I could tell you just over the span of my life, if I got tired of something, I got fed up with something, I looked, you know, somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I find a solution, a different methodology, a different strategy, or just in general, I shift out of something. You know, I shift out of behavioral patterns, or, you know, whatever it may be. But from my own experience, from just observing the world, personal relationships, work, like, most people are programmed. They're programmed to accept a lot of shit that they shouldn't accept. You know what I'm saying? And it's not until they get a hold of videos like this, they read certain books, you know, they wake up and smell the coffee. Literally, they get up out of bed, they get proactive, you know what I'm saying? They get angry. In fact, if I do so say right now, I actually put a post out on my social media, and I said, sometimes some of these pastors, not all of them, but some of these pastors be telling the raw truth, which is, I'm guessing it's a Bible verse, which is like, the violent take it by force. Now, the way that they interpret it, I don't really understand, but basically from other inspirational sermons I've heard, what they basically say is like, you take a hold, okay? You take a hold of a situation. Like, you don't wait for things to get out of control. You don't wait for the ball to drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're already feeling in your spirit that something's gonna change, something's gotta give, you snap into action, or you snap into planning to be proactive with the action. Like you don't get comfortable, basically. You get upset, you get mad, you get motivated. Okay, that's how I interpret it. I know, I'm sure that the story has a weird background in the Bible, but that just crossed, I'm just saying, guys, this morning that crossed my mind, because I kind of felt, and I understand what they were saying now, which is you take control of your life. You don't sit there idle. Remember, there's another Bible or churchy quote that says, an idle mind is the devil's playground. Or, when you're idle, the devil takes captivity. Same thing, which means the enemy, Satan, the devil, whatever term you want to use, the ego, whatever, tricks you out of your spot. It tricks you into thinking that this is what you should accept, be subservient, be a slave, be a doormat, take the abuse, take the mistreatment, take the low pay, just keep accepting it, no. It comes, guys, I'm telling you, it comes to a point where you get angry. You get fed up, you get frustrated, and you say, you know what? That's not going to cut it for me. I had that moment, like February, March, with certain things in my life. And I was like, you know what? I don't know how hard or easy this is going to be, but I don't have to accept this. I don't have to tolerate it. And so immediately I began planning. I began moving differently, immediately, because I was like, that's not going to cut it for me. I'm saying? That's just not going to cut it. But in order for that to elevate, in order for change to occur, you have to take action. It's very rare in a situation where you won't have to step out in faith and you want to take some kind of action. So that is the gist, guys, of the video. I gave y'all 40-something minutes this morning. But true to y'all, I watch back my own videos and I get such a boost, such a high, because I've lived what I'm saying. I'm not like somebody else out here, or anybody else out here, that is just reading from a book, or, they're thinking that they've overcome and they haven't overcome shit. I actually have. I've lived it, I've braved it. And I'm a living example. I'm a living example of, nothing to something. And no matter what's out there, whatever is going on in the world, I have taken stock that nobody can ever take that from me, ever. Like the progress, the insight, the accolades, my bank account, okay? Like nobody could do shit to me. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I have accepted that reality. The reality that says, okay, this is your life. You're in this bodily vessel, this meat suit, and it's up to you. It's up to you to figure out how you want your day, your week, your life, your bank account to look like. Like if you are projecting to be a multimillionaire, what I'm saying, and you want to pick a spouse, you want to pick a partner, you're not gonna, if you have sense, you're not gonna pick a partner that does not have the same ambition level you have. Like after a while, you're gonna have to ask yourself some tough questions, y'all. Like I was actually listening to a call. It was a radio show. I was listening to this call, and this guy was a little bit he sounds depressed to me, but he was basically he had, I think, like 1.2, 2.1, like he was like a millionaire. And he called in a show because he was talking about how his girlfriend, I don't think she works. Like, I don't know if she has any degrees. I don't think she has really shit to her name. And like I've said with in close circles, I've said these similar things with people. People don't believe it until they experience it. He basically called in to say that he basically put his money in his business over her, because she's expecting this, but she's never earned that. It's not like he inherited the money. It's not like he just like won the money. Like he actually, worked, went to school, built a business, what I'm saying, built capital, got paid for his product or service, whatever the heck he was doing. And he became a millionaire, what I'm saying, either in the profit margin or, the revenue. Either way, he was saying that he's worth like 1.2 or 2.1, either one of the scores. And at the end of the call, one of the hosts said to him, dump her today, break up with her, because the way you talk about her is in a way that you don't respect her, because she has not gone through what you've gone through. So there's nothing in common. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in common. So, and I agree with that call. And I agreed because it's true, Be careful who you marry, be careful who you're with, because you have to respect them. If your partner doesn't respect you, or you're with somebody who doesn't respect you, it's going to show in the behavior, and eventually y'all going to break up, or someone's going to break up with somebody because of exactly what he said, which is, I want to expand what he basically said was he wants to expand his business. He wants to expand his business, and he wants to make this move and make that move. And she's idle. Back to that word, idle. She's frozen in time. She's not progressing in her life. She doesn't have anything. And I know a lot of, the gold digger community would say, oh, that's not real. That's real. Okay. For women and for men, in the case where the woman's rich and the guy is regular or below regular, or the guy is rich and the girl is below regular. Yes, that exists. And that would exist in my case too, because to hell with you. You know what I'm saying? If I am a millionaire and you're not trying to even be a millionaire, or like you have not attained anything with your own blood, sweat, and tears, it's very hard for me to take you seriously. Like, it's very hard for me to take a person seriously when their partner, as what they said, their partner doesn't even have half of the education that they have. So when you're having a conversation with this kind of person, what are you really talking about? Because they don't know about no stocks and bonds. They don't know about no Bitcoin. They don't know about no crypto. They don't know about no real estate portfolio. What the hell do they know? So y'all do not fall for that whole thing. Okay, do not fall for this whole thing about, playing it small, or whether you're a guy or girl watching. Don't believe the hype and that whole gold digger thing, because if you really think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if let's say, for example, you were a woman, right, and you're making like, way less. You know what I'm saying? And you come into knowing a guy that has way more. Some things amiss there, because when you have certain kind of conversations, when you're a certain kind of wealth status, or socioeconomic status, you're gonna want to have certain kind of conversation. So I don't know why I felt like bringing that up, but I'm just being honest. It's like, it doesn't match up. And even myself, if there's been a guy, which is not current, thankfully, but I'm saying, like, if there was a situation, and you don't know until someone tells you, or if there's which every woman gets, every woman's gonna get different men that are attracted to them, But let's say, for example, a guy's attracted to you, and wants to get to know you, but they're not going to school. They haven't graduated, but you have. And let's say, for example, you're a lawyer, or you're a business owner, or something like that. At least in my world, and most people's world that are smart, they're not going to take the person seriously, because you just fundamentally, you're not on the same playing field. And obviously, the person who has the most money, makes the most money, is the default breadwinner. They call those people the breadwinner. So whether you're a guy or girl, don't matter. You make more money, that person is subjective to you. That's the reality. That person is going to have to do what you say. Do what you say. Why? Because you're paying the bills. You're making the vacation dates. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing the groceries in the house, or you know, they're buying the groceries. Who doesn't matter, okay? You are the one that has the bulk of the money. You know? And what I liked about what the other guy said was that in this case, let's flip it. Okay, there's another caller who was a woman now, and she was a multimillionaire. She had more than the guy that called in. She was a multimillionaire. And in this case, she did have a prenup, or she's going to get a prenup, and the male host agreed with her, which was good to see. He didn't try to downplay what she was saying, like, oh, she's lofty and she's uppity. No. He said, you got what now? You're expecting what now? You better get a prenup. I'm not going to drop no names, but in my own even experience, I've had that kind of thing. And that told me everything I need to know. Because if you're with somebody, let me just put this in here, because I feel this is for somebody out here. You're with a certain kind of person, and you want a prenup, and they get scared when you say prenup, or they run for the hills. That person's a gold digger, straight up. That person is with you for the wrong reasons, because anybody who really loves you would want an ironclad prenup, because they would respect how hard you work for what you have. And they're not just going to want, if things don't, end up right with you two, they're not going to want you to lose your money. They're not. So to me, I feel like people who don't like prenups, or they make a lot of excuses, is because they're not there for the right reason. They're a liability. They're not a asset. So when you're around people in life, y'all, and if you're not married already, and you're looking at, you're dating or whatever, or you're going to be dating soon, or whatever you got going on, make sure that you ask questions like that, and you track where their head's at. Because anybody who takes you seriously will want a prenup, in my opinion. Because you're not marrying for money, are you? You're supposed to be marrying for love. You're not marrying for money. And when I say marry for money, I don't mean like the house, your car, like that's a given. What I'm saying is, you're not a prostitute. You're not a sugar baby. You're a human being. So if you're getting married to somebody and one of you has money or both of you have money, in my opinion, like, let me put it this way. Let's say, like, I'm dating somebody and they have a lot of money. They have a business, whatever, okay? And then 6 months to a year in, there's a conversation on marriage. I would expect, if the person is smart, I would expect the word prenup and anything else that comes with that to come up, because I would know that if which I actually do, but let's not go there, but you're bringing things to the table, you don't want that person to have that, okay, if things go wrong. So I don't understand. So that whole culture of like someone not being educated, or like not having their own, and then they're marrying somebody rich, doesn't make sense to me. Because if you're really in those kind of circles, the way I have been and the way I am, like, they're talking about things that you have to be educated to know. Like, you can't not be educated or not know certain things and run in those circles. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So that's debunked, y'all. Like, don't believe that hype that you're just gonna go out here, guy or girl, and catch a multimillionaire scotch-free. It doesn't exist. Unless they're an idiot, it doesn't exist. Now, if you catch an idiot, that person probably is not very attractive, because and I don't even know why you'd want to be with somebody who can't satisfy you in the bedroom. There's no scenario in which I would marry somebody that can't satisfy me in the bedroom. Like, I've never been in a relationship where a guy can't. So I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that would make me stay there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for successful women and for successful men, okay, especially if they come into a lot of wealth whether inherited or both, they've earned it and they've inherited it, you need to make sure that you're picking a partner that gets a little grubby paws off your cash. And when I'm out here, and thankfully people I've attracted, they also have their own shit. So, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to like marriage and stuff, like prenup all the way, bruh, and whatever else they can possibly get besides a prenup, because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that whether kids are involved, I really don't care. I just don't think it's fair. Like, you're going into a situation and something doesn't work out, and now this person's entitled to your money. You know, they're not entitled to shit. They didn't work for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't work for this money, you can't have this money. Like, like, you didn't work. Like, they're not your kids. You know, if you have children, when you transition onto the Lord, you know, good parents, even the Bible says it, you know, good parents leave an inheritance for their children. That's biblical. That's in all the holy books, not just the Bible. That is like a principle that all regular established families understand. It's like you're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children. So that's kind of like a no-brainer. But what I'm saying is you're in a marriage, right? Or you're gonna get married. Will I have a prenup? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I have my own stuff. You know, not going to go too deep in that, but you know, you have your own stuff. So why would you, like I said, if you're smart, why would you put that on the line? Why would you put what you've worked so hard for, what your parents have worked so hard for, whatever? Why would you put that on the line? You know what I'm saying? You know, and what that guy said, I think I took away, which is what he said was, you know, to marry somebody, you have to kind of love them more than, you know, a certain number of money. Because in that guy's case, he was calling in because he didn't love her more than his money. And he wanted to expand his business while she wanted to, whatever the heck she wanted to do. But she brought nothing to the table. She didn't have any education. It's not like she went to school and then she just retired. Like, she didn't have anything on his level. You know what I'm saying? And so even like, I'm being honest, y'all, even like in real life, you know, I could tell y'all some stories. You know, when I see these guys and these not regular sports car, I'm talking about like Lamborghinis and all that type of stuff, right? They got not Tesla, I don't even like Teslas, but they got like Bentleys and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and all that type of stuff. Like, I can admire the car. I can look at the car and I can turn my head, because to me, I feel like you want a partner on your level. You know what I'm saying? You want to be with somebody who can get into the same events, can have the same social circles, can if they want to make $1 million a year, they want to make $60,000 a year, they want to make $100,000, they want to make, you know, they want to be out here. They gotta be on your level. I don't see the appeal, maybe because I'm a woman, but I don't see the appeal in like dating someone, being with somebody who doesn't have anything to offer. I don't really get that, you know, unless you're talking about a prostitute and a one-night stand. That's different. But if you're talking about like marriage and not being no baby mama, baby daddy, I'm talking about like you're married, you're legally binded. You're gonna want to be with somebody who is on your level, you know, like to the best of your ability. Now, if someone's like Will and Kate, you know, William is a prince. Catherine wasn't a princess, but her family were well off, and so even in her situation, they called her a commoner, and they still do. But that's an exception, because with royalty, unless they marry other heads of state, they marry other kings, princesses, and it's not ever going to be equal. Unless they marry another royal member of another different family, right? It's like, if let's say, for example, if we went back in time, if Prince William married the Princess of Monaco, that'd be a match, because they're on the same wavelength. They're both royal. So they know the protocol. But I'm saying that's like the exception. That's like beyond regular comprehension. I'm saying for most people that are celebrities or not, or they're working or whatever, like The reality is that people have to be careful, because, you know, who you marry can make or break you. It absolutely can. It can make or break you. And if we're talking about, a better life, a better quality of life, I think that also has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be wanting to make a family, then common sense would say that you'd want to be the best person that you can be, so that you can set a good example for your kids. That's how at least I see it. Like, I've never, like, even when I graduated college, in my head I was always thinking, like, you know that's just not it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always going to be, getting certifications and moving up the ladder, and different things in my life, because that's just my standard. You know what I'm saying? So, but once again, you can't look for that validation. You have to create that validation for yourself, and you have to be able to put yourself out there with faith and being proactive, and not being afraid of rejection, not being afraid of, temporary setbacks. You make the best of what you can. But that's just kind of how I feel about it. Is like, I understand, how people play that game, but I just think that on a serious level, it's like, in general in life, you want to marry your equal. You want to marry somebody who's equal, if not a little bit better. But I prefer equal, because then we can bounce off ideas. You know what I'm saying? But if someone's like totally different than you, and then you kind of feel dumb, because then what can you really talk about? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how can you relate? You really can't. So then you'd have to be trained into that kind of thing, and that's superficial. You know what I'm saying? It's like it has to feel natural. So what's even better is those couples who, have nothing, and they become something together. I think that's the best. The best is when both people are working towards a common goal. Both people are, getting educated. Both people are, pressing the mark, and then they get married. Because why? They both, right? Like, they both have proven that they're worthy of that union, that marriage, that family. But then, and especially nowadays, those situations where one and the other is completely lopsided, a lot of the times there's scandal and there's divorce, because, or there's, things behind the scenes that are wrong, because that person just doesn't match up. So at least if you're going to be in a marriage like that, at least have something to show for yourself in case something goes wrong. That's what I think people are trying to get at with women nowadays, is like, at least if something goes haywire, you have your degree to fall back on. You have something to fall back on that is substantial, versus, you're trying to fake into some kind of societal ranking that's not legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's just like fraudulent, bro, because it's almost like, if let's say, for example, I'm a multimillionaire, and I have this e-commerce business over here, and I got this real estate over here, and I got things everywhere, and I'm dating somebody, and they are working in a store, and they don't have any certification, they have no technical skills, they don't have anything, I'm saying, beneath their belt. How can you take that person seriously? Like, because think about it. If you have kids, if you then there have kids, what are they going to bring to your table? What are they going to teach your kids? Like, what kind of knowledge are they going to deposit in the children you guys make together? They're not going to have anything interesting to talk about. They're not going to have anything to really deposit. You know what I'm saying? All they're going to have is stories about their store, or the store they worked for. It was not their store, it's somebody else's store. And, it's like, it's boring. Like, there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing there. So people that fall for that, I think it's because, they're probably being played. Like, they're probably being played. If they're not being played, they're playing that person that's supposed to be intelligent, and that person's a dum-dum because they've fallen for somebody who can't even hold their own candle. Like, can you imagine marrying somebody who can't even pay their own bills? Like, think about that. Like, can you imagine marrying somebody that can't, if they wanted to like get a certain kind of job, they can't get it because they don't have the qualifications for it? Like, that makes no sense to me. So guys and women who are doing that, they're playing themselves because that person is not bringing anything to the table. Like, not psychologically, not educationally, not philosophically, not financially, not emotionally. Like, they can't have the emotional intelligence because they don't have the brain juice. More than likely, they don't have the emotional intelligence to really be a good partner for you. So I don't know who needs to hear that. I don't know why I felt like to bring that in this video, but you know, that's kind of what I'm feeling is like. It kind of, a lot of these lessons I feel kind of trickle into other areas of life. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong because sometimes life will get people down, you know, and if something happened to them, I can definitely understand firsthand how, you know, things can spiral and they can feel hopeless and they may be going through a rough patch. That's fine. But the point I'm making is that, you know, by a certain age and long term, there's certain things you want to look for in a partner. And it's sad because you think that like people would know this, but like they don't, and they may marry the wrong person. And this is why we see all these people breaking up all the time, because they've miscalculated, you know what I'm saying? And marriage and relationships are not all bad. You know, I don't like the idea that, you know, oh, to hell with all of it. No, I mean, there's a lot of benefit to a good, healthy, solid relationship. There's a lot of benefits. There's just a crap ton of benefits. There's a crap ton of benefits to a healthy relationship. Trust me, there's a lot of benefits. And marriage is not just a piece of paper. It is not just a piece of paper. It's not. It's you know, it's a fortitude. It's a legacy. It's a safety net done the right way with the right lawyers and the right people on you know, on the case that can set you up for success. You know what I'm saying? And if you marry the right person, there shouldn't be a divorce, you know, God willing, and there should be some kind of improvement. But that's just how I feel about it, y'all. I mean, I could tell y'all some stories, but you know, if I've ever been in contact with a man that's like wealthy, not his parents, I'm saying himself, I always ask myself, like, well, what am I striving for? And like, what do I want to have for myself? I know most women don't think like that because they're lazy, but I just think for like self-respect, like I wouldn't want to be here and the person's here. Like, that doesn't feel right to me. I would want to be here and the person's either here or they're a little bit higher, but we're adjacent. You know what I'm saying? We're not parallel, but we are in proximity. You hear what I'm saying? Because then you don't feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel some kind of way if you're not even living out your dreams. You know what I'm saying? So luckily, you know, for the go-getters out here, you are living your dreams. You are manifesting. You are working hard. You are working diligently. If you don't like the word hard, okay, you're working diligently. You are being proactive. But if you're not even any of those things, right? And then you attract a certain kind of partner that's doing this, and this, you're going to feel some kind of way. I guarantee you. You know, like one of my exes, there is another cat over there. How come there's so many stray cats over here? No, this cat's black and white. But let's say, like an example. Well, this is very common for me. I've a lot of times I've dated men that they have a family business. More than once now it's happened. I just pure chance. I don't know. But I also have family businesses. So like attracts, in that case, like attracts like, and we have things to talk. We understand how, you see what I'm saying, a family business is run. But if you marry somebody, if you date somebody and marry somebody and they don't know what it is to you see what I'm saying, to have a business meeting, to have a budget meeting, they're not going to understand how much work and how much sacrifice it is to get that thing. They're not gonna, guys, they're not gonna understand. They're not gonna understand why you do what you do. They're gonna judge you. They're gonna judge how you walk, how you talk, how you eat, how you dress. I'm telling you. So marry somebody on your level, y'all. Do not stoop down. I don't care how attractive, I don't care. I don't care how attractive they are. It is better to marry somebody on your level. And if they're doing a little bit better than you, then you should be striving to be just as good. Because if not, and we all know it's true, if not, they're going to hold it over your head. And if they're the breadwinner, and then you're not, you're not bringing in even 80% of income that they're bringing in, you're going to feel some kind of way, man. I have heard, and not just from a psychology background, medical background, I have heard so many people, they get to this point in their life. You see what I'm saying? They get to that point where they're looking for marriage, or they know they're gonna get, like, I feel I'm gonna get married pretty soon. Now, soon could be 10 years, soon could be 5, who the heck knows? But I've already, looked into the future, and I already know I'm gonna get married. So I have to position my mindset to not only want, having a boyfriend, but now I'm like, and for the past couple of years, it's like, no, now I'm looking at who's a good husband, who's a good father, not just a good boyfriend, not just good in bed, not just, good at dates, like who has the potential, not the potential, who has the actual fortitude and skill set to be a husband for the rest of our lives. For the rest of my life. Like, that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for somebody or attracting a person that only wants to be a good boyfriend. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking now into, are you husband material? Are you husband material? Are you the kind of person for me that I feel you are? I can look at you, I can hear you talk, I can see your daily activity, and I can ask myself, okay, are you husband material? Or are you just boyfriend material? You know what I'm saying? And many have been cut. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to be mean, but many have been cut, because at the end of the day, I'm wife material, but you're not husband material. You know what I'm saying? I'm wife material, but you're not husband material. You know what I'm saying? You may be a good boyfriend or a good lover, whatever, but like you're not husband material. And so I cannot then therefore treat you like you're gonna be my husband, because you're simply not. You're not gonna be my husband, and we both know that. Maybe you don't know that, but I know that. And so, it ends. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality. Like, that's just the reality. You know what I'm saying? So with anything in life, y'all, that y'all want to have, you want to try to go for, you want to strive for, a lot of the times, it's just not going to cut it. Like, you have to, if you're not where you want to be now, at least you're striving towards it. At least you're working towards it. At least you're proactive. It's one thing if you're not proactive at all, and then you kind of, shortchange yourself out of abundance. But as long as you're moving forward, as long as you have like the right mentality, you should be fine. You know what I'm saying? We all should be fine. But life has a funny way of testing us. Life has a funny way of really testing us, guys. And so this is not a dating video at all, but I just felt led to put that in the video because, a lot of people make that mistake. You know what I'm saying? Guys and girls, they're with people that on a good day, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to give your business or your job to somebody else, like your partner, and they couldn't do it, then that's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Because things happen. People get sick. You know what I'm saying? People, they have to travel for business, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, people that are really making moves out here, they're busy individuals, man. Like, they're getting things done, and so they don't have time to be settling, per se. They don't have time for that. In the real world, they don't have time for that. So just think about it, y'all. Just think about it. Like, a lot of people, they don't think this through. You know what I'm saying? They're going on looks. They're going off appearance, but they're not going based upon what is this person actually gonna bring to my kids' lives? What influence, what principles, what philosophies, what upbringing, what value system are they gonna bring to my children's life? You know, when I'm looking at, when I'm in a relationship or I'm dating, whatever, like, I'm not looking at, okay, the person has a six pack, they have muscles, they have a decent car. Like, that's like the bare minimum. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at their mentality. How do you think? Do you read? Do you, like, what type of skills do you have? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of skills do you have? So anyway, y'all, that's gonna really bless somebody's life from marrying the wrong person, for sure. Like, don't marry just because of looks. Looks will fade. And even if you get plastic surgery, or you go under the knife, or you lose a bunch of weight, that don't matter. That's flesh. That's vanity. That's temporary. Everybody gets old. Everybody's gonna age. So all these girls out here, you know what I'm saying, trying to pump up their face and all that, they look silly because you're trying to erase the inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's better if you look better as you get older, but that's so superficial. It's like, that's not something that I think a person should be proud about. That's just showing that you have an insecurity, or that you don't feel adequate, and so you're spending money to look better. That's okay. Every woman does that. But what I'm saying is, the reality is that you're still your age. You know, when I get to 50, and if I look half as good as I look now in my face, and I have clear skin, all this, and I was to get a procedure done, I wouldn't rant and rave about it. And I don't think I would, because you know, that's silly. You know, like, you're 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you trying to look like you're 20? Like, you're 50. Like, if you look 20 and you're 50, that's great. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you're still your age, and your husband is still his age too. So if your husband's, like, you know, in his 60s, or he's like your same age, okay, you both are gonna be old people. So, like, it doesn't matter, like, how good y'all both are. At the end of the day, on paper, y'all are 52, 53, like, y'all are old. So accept that. Accept that you're old. You look good, but you're old. And so you're still grounded. You're still grounded, because if you're going around saying, oh, I'm 21, but you're like 70, you know what I'm saying? You look like you're in your 50s, but you're like 70, and you're saying I'm 21. You know, it's a bit like of a mental disorder. You know, you still have to be in reality. You can't expect to look the same forever. You know, you're not going to look the same forever, guys. Even if you get all the makeup and cosmetic surgery in the world. Yeah, you may, because of, you know, affirmations, which I do, J-Lo does. People do that. They do different things, nip and tuck here and there. But at the end of the day, they're still their age. And so putting unnecessary pressure on yourself to look 21 when you're 70 is pathetic to me. Because you're not 21. You're 70, you're 50, you're 40. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're an adult, and putting that kind of pressure on yourself. And that's why I'm saying, if you marry the right person, they should be realistic about that. You know, if you're married to an asshole, okay, you're in your 40s and your 50s, right? And you're married to an asshole who expects you to look 30 or 25 or 21, but you're 45 plus. That's an asshole. That like that's somebody who's unrealistic. Because if I was married to a man, at one point when I will be married to a man, and he's in his 50s or he's in his 40s, I'm not going to expect him to look 25 in his 40s. So why would a 40-year-old man or 50-year-old man or 70-year-old man expect me to look 30 at 60? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So be careful who you marry, y'all. Be careful who you're dating. Be careful who you're investing in. Be careful who you're marrying. Be very careful, because these are the same people. These are the same people right here that they may have unrealistic expectations, and they may expect you to live to the hype, because in their little peanut gallery brain, they've told themselves, yeah, I'm going to have a wife who looks 21 at 60. That's unrealistic. Whereas if you have a man who is more down to earth, more grounded, and more realistic, he's not going to expect you to look like a Barbie doll of a 20-year-old or something like that when you're 60. Because what will he do? He will, which a lot of guys do, they'll dump their wife to get a younger one. Okay, or vice versa. Well, I never really heard of a woman dumping her husband for a younger guy, but I guess it does happen. So that goes back to value system. You know, are they realistic? Are they a nice person? Because if they're not a fundamentally nice person, the person you could be dating, or the person you know fantasize on marrying, they may have a mentality where they want you to look 25 at 70, at 60, at 50. Yes, they may have unrealistic expectations. And so if you don't research and ask them the tough questions, that could go right over your head. And you would never know that the person that you're considering to marry or that you're married to thinks like that. So I don't know. I just, you know, I think about stuff like that as like, and vice versa. You know, you're married to a man, he's in his 60s, he's in his 50s. Wouldn't it be unfair if you expect him to be like, you know, 21 and he's like pushing 70? Like, you know what I'm saying? So just be careful, y'all. Just be careful. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful what you're putting your energy into, and you know who you're investing your time into, because you don't want to get to a point where this person just is unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still upkeep yourself, but like everybody's gonna age in some way. Like even Kim Kardashian, like she's like, you know, the fakest of the fakest. People saw it was the Vanity Fair party. It was a Vanity Fair party, and she had like she wet her hair. She had a different kind of makeup. But when they zoomed into her face and they saw her pores and all that, she literally finally looked her age. Like, she actually kind of looked her age, and that was beautiful. You know, it was like, she still looks amazing, but she's more mature, you know? So the guy was trying to date, let's say, because I don't know if Kim Kardashian is single or not. I don't know if she's on the market or not. Let's say, for example, Kim Kardashian is, you know, being courted. Is a man going to expect Kim Kardashian to look 21? Or is he going to expect her to look 40, pushing 50, 40? I think she's like 46, 45 now. So she not no young buck. She in her 40s. She damn near 50. You know what I'm saying? She's like an adult. So that would be unfair, right? No matter if she's a billionaire or not. It'd be unfair if she was dating a guy who expected her to look like she looked back on the Kim the Kardashian show back in like the 2010s. When now she damn near 50. So, but see, Kanye was very vain. Very vain. So I think and I think he did marry somebody half her age. I think his wife is like late 20s, early 30s. There you go. So that's a red flag. So he went and married somebody 2 decades down. Like, the men that marry people around the same age are more sane because they're the same age. Now, women, sometimes I've seen women that are, I think there's one celebrity lady who, I think she's like in her 70s or like late 60s. And the guy is like in his 20s, 30s. So I don't know. But I just think that people should be realistic, you know? If you're marrying somebody, they're gonna get older, you know? Like, yeah, looks are great, but when they're 40, when they're 50, when they're 60, when they're 70, are you going to expect them to look like they were in high school? No, I'm not. You know, when you're more immature, you think like that, but as you go up in age and like you live more, you're more realistic, you know. You're like, I don't expect him to look like that. I mean, I dated a guy, well, he's still in 20s like me. I dated a guy that was I was in a relationship with a guy who was like 3 or 5 years old. Four? Was it 3 or 4? Maybe 4 years younger. And I was uncomfortable. Cause he thought because of how I upkeep myself, he thought I was his age. It just happened more than once. He thought I was like his age. I was like, no. I'm in my 20s so far, like you, but I'm not I'm not 21 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not 21 anymore. So even that situation, he was more mature for his age, but even in that situation, I felt uncomfortable because I'm like, I didn't feel uncomfortable in the word. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt, I would think it's kind of funny. I would laugh to myself a lot because I'm like, you know, like you're a baby, you know, like you're a baby, like a 4 year, even a 4 year difference to me is like, wow. And there's some people who have a decade plus difference. That must be love, I think. But if it's not love, then you know what else it is. But you know, we're a floaty boat. But at least in my situation, I've had that experience where I've dated somebody same age range, but he was still younger. It's actually happened more than once to me. And but they had themselves together, so it felt like any other age. It felt like the same age because because maturity wise, mentality wise, we were on the same level, so it didn't matter. So that goes back to my point is when you're attracting things in your life, you know, be careful what you're putting out there and what expectation you have, because that's going to determine the quality of your life. So I think now where I'm at, I think I'm looking more for like and with everything in my life, I'm looking more of like how it feels and like maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like long term. You know, where do I see myself when I'm 40? And I know it sounds kind of funny, y'all, but I've always been excited to be 40. Here and there I've seen philosophies about 40 being a very, very powerful age, as well as 33. You know, I think Jesus was 33, 36 when he died. That age range is very prophetic. But me personally, I know it sounds kind of funny. I've actually always been excited to be 40. I'm more than 2 decades away. I'm not even close to 40. But I just have a good feeling about it. I feel like that is a good age, and I feel like I've always more so look forward to being older than younger, because when you're younger, everything's a roller coaster, everything's up in the air, everything's confusing. But like as you get older, you live more life. Things just tend to make more sense, and like you feel more at ease, and like you should be more established, and by then, you know, your house is paid off or your car is paid off, and so you have more of a flexibility. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm not even close to 40, but in my head that's kind of always how I thought. I was like, okay, let's say at 35 or 40, like what would I want to be doing? What do I want to be living? You know, what state, what kind of environment, what kind of people? You see what I'm saying? And so based upon that trajectory, based upon that thinking, and everything else kind of trickles up to that point. So I have an idea, and I'm working every day towards it. And I'm excited because I think, especially with the way I handle my finances, and hopefully y'all are doing the same, but the way I handle my finances is, you know, debt-free living, debt-free. And that excludes, you know, if you're getting education, you're getting loans or whatever, or a mortgage, of course. But besides mortgage and education, you know, you should be kind of like debt free, which means you don't really have like, you know, credit card stuff or loans or whatever. That's what I mean. But that comes in time, you know, obviously that comes in time. But the point that I'm making is that, you know, for your own life, by a certain age, you have a certain idea, you know, and you don't, you're not unrealistic where you say, okay, well, all this has to happen, you know, the whole list has to happen for me to be happy. No, it could just be a situation where you say, okay, I have 10 things on the list, whether career, health, goals, whatever. And, you know, at least if 2 things, like I said in another video, at least if 2 things on that list happen, then you did a good job, you know. Let's say, for example, you want to be 121 pounds, right? And you're like 160, 140. Okay, all you gotta lose is 20 pounds. Check. You know what I'm saying? Like you've done what you sought out to do. You should be proud of yourself. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I woke up early so I could do this video before work for y'all, and I'm really happy I was able to do it. I really had fun. I wasn't expecting the end of this video to be more about like personal life, but I think it's good to include because a lot of people don't really get that kind of insight from different people, and I got that perspective, and when I hear other people and I kind of make my own conclusion, and I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea, you know, like getting different advice and kind of formulating your own destiny, your own reality, your own ideas about what you want. And then you go, you try to, you strive to go for it, you know what I'm saying? But don't put too much pressure on yourself. All right, I love y'all. I'm gonna get off of here now. It's really early. Not really a morning person, but I'm becoming a morning person because actually not too long ago, I used to go to the gym at like 4 in the morning. Before COVID, before the pandemic, when my gym closed down, I'd be going to the gym at like 4, literally, I'm not kidding, like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I've yet to see that. Now the same gym opens at 9. That's too late for me. So now I'm trying to find a gym that has a sauna. Classes are here and there, but if I'm going to be paying a flat fee, I prefer to have classes included. But if the classes are not included, then at least I want to have a sauna, for God's sake. At least I want to have oh, the camera's over here. At least I want to have the sauna, whether it's wet or dry. You know, if I'm paying a fee, I'm expecting at least a sauna in that bitch. Like not no hot yoga. I could do yoga or Pilates at home. I want a sauna. And if I had a sauna at my house, wherever the heck I stay, it don't matter. Like I would want, if I'm paying a fee, it has to have the amenities and things that I would want to pay for. And if it don't, then I'm just not gonna go there. So I'm trying to look for a gym that opens early, because like not everybody wants to like who's gonna go to the gym at 9 o'clock in the morning? Like I'm not gonna go to the gym at like that's weird. Like if it's after work, like I used to go to the gym in the morning, early in the morning, and then after work at like, I used to be crazy. I was crazy. I used to do a gym. I want to say 10 o'clock at night, like 8 o'clock at night, 8, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I forgot, but I know I used to work late and then I would go to the gym right after. Isn't that fucking crazy? That's crazy to me. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, that's crazy. But when I'm motivated, that's what I do, y'all. Like I go in the morning and I go at night. So I'm looking for a gym now that don't open late, because that's not gonna work for me. I'm now, if I get up at like 4 in the morning, I would just go to the gym from 4 to 6, 4 to 5. You see what I'm saying? All right, love y'all. I'm off here. Y'all have a good life. Have a good day. Really, I you know, everything in this video is out of the love out of my heart, y'all, for y'all, and I want you to have a great life, and we're all working to make that life happen. You feel me? All right, love y'all. Bye. Peace, y'all. Peace out.